Hey, friends! This time I'm out in this creepy ass graveyard where everything is creepy ass, as as you can see. Why am I here? Because this time we're talking about everybody's favorite dead people, zombies. That's up next on Howl-O-Ween. Zombies. They seem to have gotten very popular for some reason. Originally, zombies were part of black traditions in the Caribbean, and before that, Africa. Zombies come in two basic types: your classic old school zombies and the modern zombies. Modern zombies more or less came in with 1964's The Last Man on Earth with Vincent Price. These kind of zombies have been infected with a disease that disfigures them, rots their brains, and makes them aimlessly shamble around, infecting others and destroying innocent victims. You know, kind of like the woke kids on Twitter. Yeah, I said it. By 1968, in Night of the Living Dead, they were chomping on brains to survive. The Last Man on Earth was remade as The Omega Man in 1974 with Charlton Heston, and again in 2007 with I Am Legend, starring Mr. Slap Happy. To be honest, I've never really cared much for modern zombies. I know, right? The very modern ones seem to all move super fast and have super strength and everything. This despite their bodies rotting away. That doesn't make much sense to me. I mean, how are they supposed to be able to do all that? But an old school zombie, now that's different. Old school zombies are one of two things, or a combination of them. Either they're straight up dead people that get reanimated, or they're not dead but controlled by drugs or hypnosis, which makes them appear to be dead. Arguably, the mummy might be called a zombie. He's a dead guy who got reanimated, right? But the mummy has one thing zombies don't, namely, free will. Zombies don't have any of that stuff. They've got to be controlled and told what to do, or they just kind of sit there. So the mummy isn't a zombie. Neither is the Frankenstein monster, although he was a dead guy, or multiple dead guys, that got reanimated. He still has free will, so not a zombie. So let's take a look at some old school zombie action. You can't talk about old school zombies without starting with the granddaddy of all zombie pictures, and that's this one. White Zombie from 1932, starring Bela Lugosi. In fact, this is possibly the first time the word zombie was used in a film. This movie was thought to be lost until being rediscovered in 1960. Independent writer-producer Victor Halperin brought the film to the screen. Our story takes place in Haiti, I guess, and there's zombies running around. The zombie maker uses zombies to run his sugar mill. A couple arrives one night at a spooky plantation to get married, but the rich owner has other ideas. He wants the chick for himself. He enlists the aid of the zombie maker to zombify the girl so he can have her, but things don't go to plan. Turns out the zombie maker fancies the chick too. Having zombifying powers, he has a way of getting whatever he wants and taking revenge for any slight, real or imagined. This is a fantastic role for Lugosi. He really brings the menace. The rich plantation owner guy was played by Robert Frazier. He was in The Vampire Bat. a movie from 1933 which I've talked about before. He did a lot of westerns in his career. Madge Bellamy plays the love interest. She was a big star in the silent era. She was also chosen to star in Fox's first talking picture, Mother Knows Best, in 1928. John Harron plays the hero. He was also a prolific star of the silent era. Like Bellamy, he made the transition to sound, but mostly played small parts, often uncredited. He died very young, way too young, at 36, due to an attack of meningitis. And familiar character actor Clarence Muse plays a coachman. He'd appear with Lugosi again in The Invisible Ghost in 1941. For a low-budget independent picture, this one is stunning to look at. Really. The imagery is amazing. It's a must-see for fans of Universal's horror cycle, even though Universal didn't produce it. It sure looks like they did, though. Next up, we have Revolt of the Zombies from 1936, made by the same guy behind White Zombie, Victor Halperin. This one stars Dean Jagger, back when he was still a young guy with a full head of hair. I usually think of him like this, from when he was in 12 O'Clock High. Here, during World War I, the Allies are offered a secret way to make zombies to help in the war effort by a priest in Cambodia who's got the secret. He gets murdered and takes said secret with him. But the powers that be decide to mount an expedition after the war to find the secret. Meanwhile, one of the guys on the expedition is in love with a chick and wins her over, but he's kinda weak and shy, and one of his friends, who's strong and bold, steals the chick away. Our hero throws himself into his work, discovering the secret of making zombies, and then he turns to the dark side to get his revenge and try to win back the chick. One of the financiers of White Zombie, the Amusement Securities Corporation, sued Halperin, claiming they had exclusive rights to the term zombie. In the end, Halperin had to fork over 11,000 smackers in damages. Later, Amusement Securities apparently created YouTube's copyright claim system, which is why I can't use movie clips on my channel. I doubt you can actually claim rights to a word like zombie, but Halperin did recycle at least one element from White Zombie, Bela Lugosi's eyes, which are superimposed over stuff when Dean Jagger is using his powers. This one is surprisingly dry, White Zombie being superior in every way. What about the lighter side of zombies? Well, in 1941, we had King of the Zombies. In this one, a plane crashes on a mysterious Caribbean island, on which is a spooky old mansion and a vaguely European guy full of secrets. Turns out he's making zombies for Herr Schicklgruber, although they go to great lengths not to name the country he's working for. The stranded men have to put the kibosh on this zombie factory. In our cast, John Archer from Destination Moon is here. He was also in Blue Hawaii with Elvis and White Heat. We have Joan Woodbury as a potential love interest. She appeared in a lot of films, including The Ten Commandments and Blue Skies. She also appears in a movie from 1942 called The Living Ghost, which features a man who gets kidnapped and returned in a zombie-like state. We also have Dick Purcell. Among other things, he played Captain America in a Republic serial about the superhero. Mantan Moreland is here as a servant to our heroes. A real comedian, Moreland was in tons of films, most notably the Charlie Chan series from Monogram Pictures. Unlike Willie Best or Stepin Fetchit, Moreland's characters never fully became the worst of the racial stereotypes, and Monogram appreciated his value to their pictures. Unfortunately, like the other two, Moreland got cancelled in the Civil Rights era, despite his enormous talent and his breaking down barriers for other black entertainers. You'll also find Marguerite Whitten here, who appeared with Moreland in several films, albeit in mostly small supporting roles. Then there was a sequel to King of the Zombies, which isn't really a sequel. This one has Mantan Moreland, a spy working for an unnamed country called Germany, and zombies. Other than that, it's not related to King of the Zombies at all. No, this one is Revenge of the Zombies from 1943. Again, we have a baddie, this time played by John Carradine, making zombies for the Ratsies, and our heroes have to stop him. Gale Storm and Bob Steele are also in the cast. Well, I liked both of these pictures. John Carradine is the more memorable of the two villains, and Moreland is a lot of fun in both outings. Finally, let's talk about what is probably one of the best of the old school zombie movies. Namely, I Walked with a Zombie, also from 1943. A lot of zombies running around that year. In this one, a nurse from Canada is hired to go down to the Caribbean and care for an invalid wife of a sugar plantation owner. Turns out the wife is in a catatonic state and appears to be a zombie. Was it caused by a fever, a voodoo curse, or what? There's some secrets going on between the husband and his brother regarding the wife and what happened to her. The nurse tries to help the wife snap out of it, but nothing works. Meanwhile, she falls for the husband. So pretty much Jane Eyre, but with zombies. Frances D plays the nurse, and I liked her in this. The husband was played by Tom Conroy, who was the brother of George Sanders. Both played a character called the Falcon, who was sort of like the Saint. The Falcon ran in a series of films for RKO. In fact, Sanders handed off the role to his brother, who carried on with it. This movie brings the creeps, because the team of Val Lewton and Jacques Tourneur knew what they were about. They worked on The Cat People and other stylish horror movies. One scene involves our heroine taking the wife through the forest to go to a voodoo ritual, and it's just an amazing sequence of suspense, culminating in the pair encountering a creepy-ass zombie. Eek. The photography here is great, too, with interesting shadows amping up the spookery. Well, this is an absolute must-see if you dig zombies or old-school horror movies. Just be aware, none of these movies are rapid-fire, fast-paced slasher pictures like today's zombie movies. If that's what you want, you'll be disappointed. But if you want style and appreciate the old-school stuff, White Zombie and I Walked with a Zombie are hella worth your time and attention. Well, I guess I'd better get home. It's actually illegal where I live to be in a marble orchard after dark. So you take care of yourselves and don't let a zombie get you. And I'll see you next time. Bye.